In the pursuit of longevity, there's a growing realization that living longer isn't nearly as important as living better. After all, what good is a few extra years if they're spent battling chronic pain, cognitive decline, and emotional disconnection? This is where the concept of health span comes in, the number of years we live free from disease, disability, and decline. And surprisingly, a compound better known for its trippy visuals than its therapeutic subtlety may be emerging as a quiet champion of health span: psilocybin. Yes, we're talking about the same molecule found in psychedelic mushrooms that's been making headlines for treating depression, PTSD, and end-of-life anxiety. But beneath the glowing reviews from clinical psychology lies an even more radical observation. In animal studies, older mice given low doses of psilocybin didn't just behave differently, they looked and moved differently too. Their fur became shinier. They moved with more ease and agility. They even showed increased social behavior and responsiveness, suggesting a kind of whole organism rejuvenation that's hard to explain by neurotransmitters alone. Let's dig into what might be happening here. The first and most obvious benefit is improved neurological function. Aging brains suffer from reduced plasticity, inflammation, and declining dopamine and serotonin activity. Psilocybin, through activation of 5-HT2A serotonin receptors, appears to rekindle neuroplasticity, stimulating the growth of new dendritic spines and synapses, especially in brain regions tied to mood, motor control, and executive function. This alone can explain better balance, coordination, and confidence in movement. When older animals get their neural circuitry rewired just enough to think, "Hey, I can still do this," the physical results follow. But psilocybin's benefits seem to go far beyond the brain. Researchers have observed systemic changes in metabolism, inflammation, and even gene expression after exposure to psychedelics. In older animals, chronic low-grade inflammation, inflammaging, is a major contributor to fatigue, frailty, and organ dysfunction. Psilocybin appears to lower inflammatory cytokines, reduce oxidative stress, and normalize immune activity. These are not just soft benefits. They translate into healthier skin, better wound healing, more efficient energy usage, and more resilient organs. And then there's the mitochondrial angle. As the powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria tend to falter with age. Cells lose the ability to produce energy efficiently, leading to slower recovery, reduced muscle strength, and cognitive dullness. Preliminary data suggest that psilocybin may enhance mitochondrial function, not by ramping up energy demand, but by improving how cells respond to stress and recycle damaged mitochondria through mitophagy. A mitochondrion that can clean itself up is one that can keep powering the lights longer, especially in tissues that rely heavily on energy like the brain, heart, and muscles. In the aging mice studies, these mechanisms showed up as real-world changes: less trembling, more movement, shinier coats, and livelier behavior. Not immortality, not infinite youth, but vitality, that elusive spark that tells you a body is not just alive, but living well. And crucially, these effects weren't achieved with daily megadoses. Often, just a single low dose of psilocybin produced visible improvements that lasted for weeks or even months. This suggests the compound acts more like a system-wide reboot than a daily maintenance drug. But perhaps the most underappreciated aspect of psilocybin's health span promise is its psychological uplift. Older animals and humans often show signs of withdrawal, reduced curiosity, and behavioral rigidity. Psilocybin has been shown to restore novelty-seeking behavior in aged animals, a proxy for mental flexibility, motivation, and engagement. In human terms, that's the difference between spending your last decade on autopilot and staying emotionally awake, ready to learn, connect, and participate in life.